Hi, my name is Ariana Trotter, and today I will be showing you a presentation about my family tree and heritage. Here's my lovely audience. I have my friend Cheyenne, my friend Austin, my friend Darius, and my friend Swoon. Okay. So first thing I want to talk about is my immediate family and who I live with. I have two different sides. So I have my mom's side, and on my dad's side, I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. So it's kind of complicated. Let me tell you about that real fast. So my mom has 3 kids, which makes me the oldest on her side. I have an 18-year-old brother named Cameron. If you can see, he's right here. I have an 8-year-old brother named Davin, and he's right here. So that's my mom's side. That's just us 4. And then on my dad's side is where it's a little confusing. So my dad has 4 kids, me, my brother Donovan, my brother Cameron, and my little sister Kamaya. And just recently, my dad got married, bringing 3 other children into our family. So I have a brother named Jesse, a sister named Leah, and a brother named Vaughn. So it's kind of confusing, but we're all one big happy family. So the oldest relative on my mother's side, Bernadine Baker. She is white and Slovakian. She's 87 years old. She has 7 children, 17 grandchildren, and 24 great-grandchildren. When having the privilege to interview my great-grandmother, I asked her a few questions. So I asked her, being Slovakian, what are some traditions that she plans to carry through generations to come? She responded, the food. You can't be Slovakian if you've never had pierogies, halishkis, and stuffed cabbage rolls. The second question I asked my grandmother was, I asked her if she could teach me a little bit of Slovakian, which is kind of hard for her because it's hard for her to remember some words. So the words that she did remember, she taught me. So what is your name is Ako Sovolas. Love is Laska. Love you is Lubimta. My name is Ariana is Bomosel Ariana. Remember the third question I asked my grandma was, what are roles that specifically between men and women? She responded that growing up, the men did all the hard work while the women just took care of the kids. But raising her children, she made sure that the men knew how to do the women's job, and the women could also do the men's job. This is after interviewing my grandmother. Family to her is nothing but love. We keep her going, and she loves that she has settled with her life, so now she can watch us start our own. She mentioned living as long as she has, it's been nothing but change of the world and more opportunity to be successful. All she has to say is history is repeating itself. She said it can be good or a bad thing, but whatever happens, she wants us to stay true to ourselves and love with everything we have. She didn't go much into detail about her past just because it's hard for her to remember some things, but I learned a lot about my grandmother. She is a sweet old Slovakian lady that has never experienced racism, but hates the world for making it a thing. Colored skin is the best skin. It's unique and it never cracks. She's a sweet lady that does not judge and loves everyone for who they truly are. She wanted our family and our family traditions to be carried through the food we eat and the love we share for one another. My family background on my mother's side, the professions, we have accountants, teachers, coaches, business owners, physical therapists, chefs, beauticians, construction workers, and actors. Everyone has graduated high school and are college graduates or attending college now. I realized after looking at my family, we are diverse, sharing different religious morals and beliefs. My family is about half men and half women, when no gender is more dominant than the other, which means that both men and women in my family are equal when it comes to occupational and educational paths in society. We are all hardworking individuals who work for everything we have. Also, when we look at family, we consider ourselves middle class and social working. Now we have the oldest relative on my father's side. Denita Trotter, African American, 60 years old, 3 children, 14 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. A few questions after interviewing my grandmother was, how do you define family? She states, I love my family. You guys all keep me going. I wish we did more together, but since my grandkids are all a wide age span, it's hard to get in connection sometimes. But I've had to come to an understanding and have to realize that they are all different parts of their lives, but I'm just grateful to experience that all with you. What are some traditions that you plan to carry through our family? She states, I love when all the women and men get together in the kitchen for the holidays. I want to keep the family recipes alive, like greens, yams, and her favorite chocolate cake. And we can't forget the family get-togethers. After interviewing my father's side, we sat down and talked for a while like we do. We like to talk each other's ear off. She was telling me she dislikes a generation that we are now because they do not know how to speak to their elders. People are crazy at the mouth, she states. People don't know how to use proper English. After talking to each other for a long time, I realized that my grandma is very old-fashioned and speaks nothing but the truth. She's honest and says anything for how it is, and I realized that me and my grandmother have a lot alike in a lot of certain areas. After interviewing my dad's side of the family, we have factory workers, managers, medical assistants, pro NFL players, and business owners. When doing research, I found that a majority of my father's side of the family is women. My family is diverse when it comes to religion. There are many different religions that flow through the family, and we do not discriminate. When it comes to education, all my family has graduated high school, and a majority of them are attending college now. Being biracial. Many people have a lot of questions when it comes to biracial families, like how they work and the differences between the two. Well, being a biracial woman with a black and white family, I was excited to dig deep into my family heritage on both sides, not only to influence you, but myself. After interviewing the members of both my families, I now have a better understanding of who I am. When coming from a diverse family, I get to see both sides of everything: the food, holidays, and so much more. When speaking to both sides, I realized that no matter what, my family moves through the love we share through one another. Yes, the food and holidays may be different, but no matter what, family will always be a huge part of who I am as a person. I have learned a lot of things about my family and can't wait to keep the food and traditions alive. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to enlighten you a little bit about who I am and where I come from. I'm about to open the floor up for questions.
I just wanted to know how many siblings do you have in total?
In total?
Yeah.
I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay, and that's not including like both your mom and dad's side?
That's all together.
Okay.
That's all together.
Okay, here's my question. Are you recording?
Mm-hmm.
How do you plan to carry on family traditions?
I would have to say the food. I've been learning a lot of new Slovakian recipes. So on my Slovakian side of the family, that's something that I've been really trying my hardest. And on my father's side, I would just have to say the same thing as food. They're big bakers. So just carrying on like my great grandma's recipes from my dad's side that I didn't have the opportunity to interview is some of her family recipes that we have during family events.
Yeah, I just want to know what family did you go around or grow up with the most, and how did it affect you?
Okay, that was a good question. I'd have to say I grew up more on my father's side. I was raised by my dad's side of the family just because my mother's side is out of town. How did it affect me? Not to like throw in like, race, but I was more seen as like the black girl. Like my hair was getting done more by black women than it would a white woman. So like just growing up, like just defining my hair and like defining the person that I am, I would prefer myself as a black girl than a white girl. So speaking biracially, I would see myself being more black than white because I didn't get to experience the white side of my family as much as I should have.
Where is Slovakia, and would you ever go there?
Okay. Slovakia is European, so it's in Europe. So it's right next to Germany and Poland. And yes, I see myself traveling there. That's actually one of my goals later on in life is to go see all my family there and heritage and experience that culture.
How are your relationships with your siblings?
I'm actually very family oriented. That's actually that defines the person I am. So I'd have to say that our relationship with all my siblings are pretty much strong. My brothers act like my father. They're very overprotective, and we all deeply care for each other. And my sisters, they go to me for anything. I'm that type of person you can come to with all your problems if you just want to talk. So I feel like our relationships are all molded very strongly, and we have a great bond.
Who in your family is your biggest influence?
That's kind of a tough question. My family, I would have to say my grandma. Actually, my grandma on my mother's side. She's my second mom. I've talked to my grandma about things that I can't even talk to my mom about. So my grandma gives me a lot of advice, and she teaches me a lot in the kitchen, like baking and cooking, sewing. Actually what it's like to raise kids. Not that my mothers don't do that, because my stepmother and my mom, but I would have to say my grandmother is a big influence in my life.
What tradition do you like participating in the most?
I'd have to say my Slovakian side just because there's a lot more, how do I say this? Traditionally, like, food is different than anything you would ever have. So I like trying that new things because every time I'm with Slovakian dishes, there's always something new. There's always different pastas you can make and different dishes. So I would have to say my Slovakian side. It's very bright and vibrant. Slovakian people tell you for how it is. And so I like practicing my tradition side.
I was just wondering who in your family is an NFL player and how have they impacted your life?
My brother is actually an NFL player for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's actually been a cool experience watching him go through all that. His dreams are coming true. So I wish nothing but the best for him. And it's a good feeling to see that he's accomplishing his goals. So that makes me work harder to accomplish my goals and work on the things that I need to work on to become successful and be at that higher level like he is.